Welcome! Today we are sharpening our single most important tool, our words. We're going to go on a little quest to really master the art of persuasion and eloquence. Basically, how to communicate with some serious power.
I mean, really think about that for a second. A single, well-crafted sentence can launch a movement, it can seal a deal, or completely change someone's mind. Having the right vocabulary isn't just about sounding smart, you know? It's about having the power to actually shape the world around you. And that's exactly what we're doing here today. We're building a toolkit for what some people used to call fire in the mouth, that ability to speak with real passion and, just as important, with precision. This is all about empowering your own voice.
So here's the game plan. We're going to break down our 20 words into 4 key categories. We've got words for persuasion, words you can use as weapons, words that define your style, and finally, words that describe specific forms of communication. Okay, let's dive right in.
First up, let's look at the constructive side of communication. These are the words you're going to use to build solid arguments, to win over hearts and minds, and to inspire people to act. Let's start with 3 words that kind of build on each other. First, if you're eloquent, it just means you speak beautifully, persuasively. But what if your argument is also compelling? Well, that means it's so powerful that it's almost impossible to ignore. And when you put those two together, the eloquence and the compelling message, you get the final effect. You enthrall your audience. You have them hanging on your every word. Now, this isn't just saying something is good. To extol something is to praise it with real, genuine, vibrant enthusiasm. You know, think of a movie critic who just loves a film and writes a review extolling its brilliant directing and amazing performances. That level of passion, it's way more persuasive. So, the key difference between these two is all about focus. A coach might exhort their team to try harder. It's an urgent, in-the-moment call to action. But a philosopher might espouse a whole belief system, which is all about adopting a long-term cause. So, think of it this way. Exhort is a short-term push, and espouse is a long-term embrace of an idea.
All right, let's flip the coin. Communication isn't always about building things up. Sometimes it's about tearing down a bad argument or just standing your ground. These are the verbal tools of conflict and criticism. When you decry something, you're condemning it. But here's the key. You're doing it publicly. It's not just disagreeing in private. It's making sure everyone knows where you stand, using that social pressure. For instance, an activist group might hold a press conference to decry a new policy they hate.
And this right here, it perfectly illustrates our next word. A diatribe is way more than just criticism. It's a bitter, forceful, and often really long verbal attack. As you can see from the example, it is just loaded with anger. It's a powerful tool for sure, but you gotta be careful. It can easily turn your listeners off if you overuse it. And here are 2 more sharp tools for the kit. If you want to formally contradict what someone's saying, maybe in a debate, you would gainsay their statement. But sometimes the weapon isn't a long argument, but how you deliver it. A curt reply is a weapon of pure brevity. It's so rudely and abruptly short that it just slams the door on the conversation. Okay, so we've covered the why of communication, whether it's to persuade or to criticize. Now let's get into the how. This section is all about the words we use to describe the style and the delivery of our message. Here we have 2 complete polar opposites. A concise speaker, they get their point across with maximum impact using the minimum number of words. It's powerful because, honestly, it respects the listener's time and it projects confidence. On the other hand, a garrulous person just talks and talks, usually about stuff that doesn't really matter, and they lose their audience pretty quick. Colloquial language is just that. Informal, everyday speech we use with friends and family. You know, phrases like what's up or gonna. If you use it strategically, it can build a great connection and make you seem more relatable. But be careful, because in a formal setting, it could actually undermine your authority. Now, these 2 are both about style, but in different areas. Being facetious is a stylistic choice in your tone. It's when you use kind of inappropriate humor for a really serious topic. It's a gamble, right? It could either break the tension or it could fall completely flat. Garish, though, that describes a visual style that's just so over-the-top bright and showy that it comes off as tasteless. All right, for our final section, we're looking at words that describe specific structures and functions of communication. These are basically the names for particular types of speaking and writing.
When you delineate an idea, you're not just vaguely talking about it. Oh no, you are carefully drawing its boundaries, defining all its parts, and describing it with total precision. It's all about creating a crystal clear picture for your audience, so there is absolutely no room for misunderstanding.
So a piece of writing, or maybe a speech, is didactic if its main purpose is to teach you something, especially a moral lesson. Think of it as instruction that's been wrapped up inside a story or an argument. And this is the perfect example, right? Aesop's fables are famously didactic. The story isn't just about a race. It is specifically designed to teach the moral that slow and steady wins the race. It's a way to make the lesson sick.
At Crescendo, it's not just about being loud, it's about the journey to get there. Psychologically, this is so powerful because it builds anticipation and it gets the listener emotionally invested. By gradually building up the force and the intensity, you make that final point land with the biggest possible impact.
And to round out our toolkit, 2 very specific forms. A eulogy is, of course, a speech given at a funeral to praise the person who has passed away. And epistolary, that's just an adjective for something that's written in the form of letters, like you might read an epistolary novel.
So let's just step back and look at the toolkit we've put together. These aren't just vocabulary words, they are instruments. You now have the tools to persuade with eloquence, to criticize with precision instead of just launching into a diatribe, and to really shape your message, whether that means being powerfully concise or building your argument up to a stunning crescendo. So you're now equipped with 20 new instruments for powerful expression. The only question left is, which tool are you going to pick up first, and what kind of fire are you going to light with it?